tell me about the first house you remember living in when you were a kid.
Well, that was in Englewood, New Jersey. No, not Dumont, New Jersey.
Dumont, New Jersey.
Yeah, and I was born in Englewood Hospital.
Englewood?
Yeah.
With an E?
Yeah.
With an E, Englewood.
And that's right on the Hudson River. And it was big, high bluffs, you know. And actually, I wasn't born in the hospital. I was born out in the taxi cab right out in front. So,
what was the river like then?
It was clean and beautiful. That's what they call a palisade, because it was 300-foot high cliffs, and you look way down into the water. And as it went up north, it got lower. You know, the cliffs got lower. It's quite a thing.
Well, what was the house like? The first house you remember?
Oh, well, I really can't remember too much. It was an old wood-framed house. I think it had about 4 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
It wasn't into bathrooms so much in those days. Well, they must.
No. Well, how long did you live there?
We lived there for about 2 years, and then we moved to a town called Bergenfield, New Jersey. And then right there we used to live in an old mill house, like they used to mill flour and stuff like that, and water.
That's what the house was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mill house. And it had a pond there, and the ducks used to lay eggs in the water. We reach out and grab them.
They floated?
Huh?
The eggs floated?
No, they run about.
They settle?
Yeah. Real shallow water, nice and clean and all. And we used to eat them. See? Then from there, we moved to Lindenhurst.
I remember hearing about that.
That's just about, 10 miles away from Babylon. You know, that's about what it was.
In New York. I remember Uncle Ted talking about Lindenhurst.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, well, we lived there just for about, my father liked to move. He was always moving. We lived there for about 6 months, and then we moved to Babylon, Long Island.
Why do you think you like to move?
I don't know.
Was it jobs, was the depression and different jobs, or what?
No, he just liked to move, that's all. He always worked the same job in New York. He worked for the Metropolitan Insurance. And he used to take the train in, work there, and take the train back to, commuter train.
Commuter train.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He was an accountant.
An accountant with Metropolitan Life?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he had to account all the money and all that stuff like that.
Huh.
And anyway, he did that for quite a while.
Did he play baseball and stuff like that?
Yeah, he was a very, very good baseball player. He managed a whole bunch of teams.
You mean sort of like Little League or something?
No, grown-ups.
Like semi-pro or amateur, kind of like men's league,
yeah,
night league, evening league or something?
No, semi-pro it was. Used to play Friday and Saturday afternoons. That time they didn't have any lights to speak of.
Right.
So he was a very good ball player.
Who did he like, and who did you and your brothers like? Did everyone like the Yankees or the Giants or the Dodgers?
Oh, I think most of them liked the Giants. Yeah, well, we I was only a little bitty kid then. When I was in Dumont, New Jersey, I had my leg burned so bad I didn't think I'd even live,
Who didn't?
Me.
Oh. How did that happen?
Well, the kid down the road, his name was Louis Redisha. He was 2 or 3 years older than me. And they had an old car in our backyard, and he got some gas out of it. And actually what happened, he lit it. It started burning his finger, and I happened to be there, and just threw it to get rid of it. He didn't aim it at me.
Right.
It landed on me and really burned me bad.
Who was there to help you?
Nobody. Except somebody come out and rolled me up in the rug and got it out.
Who is that? Your dad or your mom? Do you know?
No, my father wasn't home, of course. I think one of the neighbors did that.
Oh. And was your mom? Who else was around?
Well, at that time they were in school and everything else. You know, I'd get home early.
So you? Oh,
I wasn't even in school then, I don't think.
You were what, 4 years old or something?
Yeah, 4.5, 5, almost 5.
Oh, I didn't know you were so young when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to go? Did they take you to the doctor and stuff?
Yeah, well, those days they didn't know much about burns, and all they had for was unguentine. My mother smeared it all over my legs, and luckily it turned out I could walk and do everything. So, okay.
Well, what was Aunt Josie like when you were kids?
Well, she was a tomboy, because she was the only girl in the family. Josie, yeah. We used to call her Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Did she play baseball and stuff with you guys?
Oh, yeah, I think she did, yeah.
Did she do athletics in high school or in school?
Oh, yeah, she played basketball and softball, I believe.
Huh. Did you or anyone go to, like, you and your brothers go to, like, things like high school dances and stuff, or do they have much of that, or?
Oh, yeah, they had all of us. I never went to too many of them. I didn't dance good. But I guess Larry and Nelson did. Larry was pretty clever. He was the president of the student body.
When you were in school, when did you first start? You first started hearing things about, like, the fascists in Europe and Hitler and stuff?
Didn't hear that till I was in high school. You know.
What year was that?
Let's see now. That was probably in 39 and 40.
Uh-huh. So there wasn't much on the news about that before, up to then?
Oh, yeah. There was
maybe some.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of crazy things, so we figured we was going to go to war, and the government was getting ready. We were ready.
Were people surprised after when Japan bombed into Pearl Harbor? Were they really surprised, or they kind of thought something would happen?
Well, sure, surprised. They bombed us, and we didn't do nothing about it.
But I know it was a sneak attack, but I mean, were people surprised that the war started, though?
Well, they were just anxious to get in the war. They thought they could beat us, but they didn't.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Well, where were you when you first heard about that, the attack on Pearl Harbor?
Oh, that was in 41. I was in Panama.
And how did you find out?
Well, come over the radio, and besides that, the commanders told us about it.
The commanders came around and told everyone?
Yeah, well, the whole thing about it was that they knew it was going to happen, and they didn't do anything about it. Because for about 2 or 3 weeks before the war started, we was on alert every night. So they must have an idea.
Right.
So I always thought that the Japs knew about it. I mean, we knew that they were going to attack us, so we waited too long.
Seems like they should have done something to get the ships out of the harbor in time in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, well, they didn't. And I was lucky. I had a choice of going to Panama, the Philippines, or Hawaii when I joined up.
Right. And what year did you join?
In 1941.
What month?
Let's see now. I think it was January.
January 1941, so it was almost a whole year before Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
About 11 months.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to that. I'll ask you about boot camp and stuff. But then you said you had a choice. They asked you.
Yeah.
For your orders, if you could go to Hawaii, the Philippines, or Panama.
I picked Panama because a lot of guys I met were going there. I said, we got along good, so what the hell, I'll go to Panama. And I was there for 2.5 years.
Well, that was a good thing because the Philippines, not many people made it out of there. The army was stationed here. Well, what was Panama like when you first? How long did it take to get there? How did you get there? Did they fly down, or train, or a ship?
Down by a ship. Took the ship out of New Orleans.
How did you get to New Orleans?
Well, from New York to. I didn't take my basic training until I got to Panama.
Oh.
See? And then we went in New York to New Orleans on train. Then we got the ship from New Orleans down to Panama.
How long did the whole thing take from New York to Panama?
New York to Panama, probably about a week, because I stopped here and there. And then when I got Panama, I was on the east side of the canal. Well, we went to the west coast by train across there. And I was on the Pacific side of the Panama Canal. Yeah, it was nice there. We used to get papayas like we got over there. Not papayas, that's mangoes.
Right.
We had mangoes, papayas, passion fruit, and all kinds of stuff. We used to pick them.
They're just growing in the jungle and you just go get some?
Well, a lot of the Panamanians were farmers. We used to swipe them from them. They didn't do nothing.
How many other Americans were there besides like the Army? Was there Marines and was there Navy there?
Yeah, a lot of Navy. Yeah, a lot of Navy. Not too many Marines, but mostly the Army.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a fight in downtown Panama City. They put a machine gun up in the middle of the road, and they didn't stop fighting. Go brrr over their head.
Oh, you mean the locals if they're fighting?
Yeah. Well, a lot of times there's fights between the American Navy and the British Navy. They hate each other.
Really? Oh, like big brawls and stuff, huh?
Yeah, big brawls.
Huh. That's kind of...
Panama was... it was quite nice now. We used to have a rainy season. It rained every day for months. Then it stopped raining. You know, the sun come out.
When is the rainy season? The summer or winter or what?
Well, I don't know how you try it, but there's no such a thing as winter down
No, I mean, according to us, though.
Yeah,
like, was it in our winter
rainy
months?
season was about 4 or 5 months long. Then there come the dry season, you know. But it was nice down there. We used to, I was stationed on a 16-inch gun crew, but I was an observer. We used to have these islands off the shore. I was on Tabagilia, and I had 2 other guys, the 3 of us.
How big was the island?
Huh?
How big was that island?
Oh, pretty good size, but it's just nothing but a mountain sticking out.
Was it big enough for people to live on there?
Oh yeah,
locals?
it had some towns down below. And
so the 16-inch gun, it's the same size as the New Jersey had.
Yeah, that's where they come from, Navy ships. So we had our own little narrow gauge railroad because it's so heavy, nobody could carry them. You know.
Right.
So you had ammunition dumps and they go along the tracks. They had a way of rolling them down onto the little trains, and they haul them around and they load them up. You know.
How do they get the shells into the projectiles into the cannon?
Well, it slides down the thing, and then they turn it, and then they somehow or other run it into it.
It's like roll on rollers or something, like conveyor sort of?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then...
Did they practice shooting a lot?
Off and on, and not too much. They used to... we used to have a ship tow these things, you know.
Right.
Like a big triangle, then a long ways back another one. Between the triangles was where the ship would be.
Right.
So they track that and shoot it at that. Because you can't go...
Well, they thought the Japanese might try to come and capture the canal, huh?
Yeah.
Well, how many of those 16-inch like turrets and those gun placements were around? Was it all over the place, or?
Well, I can't tell you about the Atlantic side, but the Pacific side was about 4 or 5 batteries, you know, all up along the coast.
How many 16-inch guns are in a battery?
Oh, I think there was 2 or 3.
And each one had what? One barrel or 2?
1 barrel.
1 barrel.
Yeah. But their projectiles weigh 2,400 pounds.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
When I was first in the Navy and on the ship, the Paratrooper ammunition ship, we hauled those projectiles back from the Philippines when they had them over there during Vietnam for the New Jersey. Well, did they ever have any USO shows or anything like that down there?
Yeah.
No?
They had in the big bases, yeah, but we never saw them.
Did you guys sleep in tents, or do they have like barracks around?
We had little shacks that we made ourselves.
You had to make your own?
Yeah, well, they gave us a whole bunch of wood and nails and
they gave you
paper and stuff like that, and some cement.
So they said, here, build some?
Yeah, we built our own little...
Did they have like plans for everyone to use? Everyone just threw stuff, kind of ganged up on a project and threw stuff together?
Well, they had a staff sergeant or something be running to tell you what size to build it, make them uniform, you know.
Oh, okay.
They had a mess hall. They made a mess hall.
What was the food like?
The food was good. Yeah, real good.
So it must have been a lot of stuff they got locally there fixed, huh?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
And it wasn't like those CK rations and that kind of stuff?
No. We lived pretty good down
Was
there.
it like beef and pork and stuff?
Yeah, just like everybody else eats. When I was on Tabagilia, which is on the fortified... Well, we had a observing station right on the top, and we could track the ships like that.
Like a little telescope?
Yeah, about that long, about that round. And it turned around as you turn the handle. And
how long did you have to look through that at a time? Did you take turns like 2 hours at a time or something?
Well, yeah, you always had to have somebody on duty all the time in case they saw any Japanese ships coming in, you know.
Right.
But anyway, we was on top of the island, and it was probably about 1,400 foot high, pretty high. And they used to send a ration boat out once a week, once a week, yeah, with our food. Half the time they didn't show up, see, so.
Oh, jeez.
We could go out and get a lot of food from the natives and stuff. And the water was just as clear as crystal then, and go for swimming and all that.
Probably real warm, too.
Oh, it was really lovely, you know. And then we had a mule, you know. So, when we didn't eat, we just beat them on the ass and eat all grass around there and all that stuff. And then when we won, we had to go hunt them up. Then we go down to meet them at ration boat. We tie all the food on the damn mule, get him up to the top, take all the food off that we're going to eat, and pat him on the ass, and he goes off on his own.
Off on his own. Now, that one belonged to the Army, or is that someone that you guys acquired from the natives?
That belonged to the Army.
Oh.
And we used to have a lot of fun. Now, we had a monkey, pet monkey. There's all kinds of monkeys and shit there.
Well, what did you do with the monkey? Did you have like a little cape for him, or a hat or something, or just
no,
he hung out and ate with you guys? Or?
Yeah, he hung out and ate. Then this one guy, he come out. He was a jerk. He was a non-com, and it was a funny thing. The monkey didn't like him. He ran up on his shoulder and shit on his shoulder. And he took off, you know. That guy wanted to kill him, but it was okay. Couldn't catch him.
But everyone else thought that was really funny.
That was great, because he was a jerk, that sergeant, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, it was real nice in the jungle. There was wild pigs there, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We had one, a little one, about this long. We had him as a pet. And they're boars, they're very dangerous.
Right.
When he grew up, he got about 12. And he still hung around, and finally he left.
Yeah, he got old enough he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
So, did anyone ever hunt those and, like, you know, hunt one down, you know, kill them and then barbecue or anything?
No, we never did that. No.
But I bet the Panamanians probably use that a lot, those wild boars.
They used to eat iguanas.
Iguanas?
The old joke was, if in the Army you go to Panama City, don't ask for chicken. That's what you get, iguana.
Iguana.
Tastes like chicken, look like chicken. They're green things, they're about that long tail.
There are a lot of them hanging around the jungle where you
they look prehistoric monsters, what they look like. But anyway, then they had a lot of wild fruit there. We used to get. Yeah, it was okay. But I couldn't wait to get out of there. After I got home, I wished to hell I was back there.
And you were there for 2.5 years?
Yeah.
And then, what year was it when you left? And where did you go?
Well, I went home to the United States. It was, 43. 1943.
Late 1943?
Yeah, okay. They sent me home. I got a week
to
off.
To Babylon?
Yeah, I got a week or so off. And they were all, everybody I knew were gone. And I was sent down to Washington to work in a repo depot, they call it, where they bring guys and they assign them different areas. You get them supplies, or you get them a rifle, the ammunition, the clothes, everything. And then they pack their bags, and then they lead them off to ships to go away. Well, I did
Europe.
that. Yeah. And I did that for a while. Then I joined the paratroopers.
So what happened? Did they come around and say, we're looking for volunteers for the paratroopers, or?
No, well, you can request to be, you know. So when I took my physical, my blood pressure's a little low, so they said, look, you go out and drink 2 beers and come back and you'll be fine. I did that, and my blood pressure was low. Drank 2 beers, my blood pressure was perfect, so I got in.
After drinking 2 beers?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, we went down to Fort Benning, Georgia.
Let's stop for a second. I want to check this tape. And so you left Washington, D.C., and you went to Fort Benning, Georgia.
Well, I was actually at Fort Meade, Maryland.
Fort Meade, Maryland.
Which was right just close to Washington. And then from there I went to Fort Benning, Georgia. We all got in this barracks, see. And the guy would come in and say, from here on over, go on KP. So the next time he come, everybody want to get on that side.
Yeah.
He says, from here on over, you're. Okay. And then the guy who was the acting sergeant, he had a list. He's supposed to have a list of everybody who was on KP. We found out he had one list in his pocket, no 2 lists, one. Somebody stole it out of his back pocket. We all took off. So he didn't know who the hell was there and all. See, so we went back, and he got some. Just picked the guys right then and there. You. Put their names down, and then we went back over there. And later on, we was glad to get KP because, you know, we used to steal a lot of extra food, you know.
Because you didn't get enough to eat?
Yeah, and then...
What else did what did they make everyone do on KP?
Washing dishes and preparing food to be cooked and stuff like that. And then after that, we wished the hell we was on KP after we got into jump school. Right.
Where was that?
That was right there, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Uh-huh. In Georgia, okay.
Yeah, it was really tough physical training. Because the average person don't know what it's all about. They try to make you quit by making it really tough.
What would they do?
If they, we used to carry a log and get about 8 guys, log about this round, do exercises with them on their shoulder. Up over your head on this shoulder, like that. And all kinds of really tough things. They try to get you to quit because they figure if they can make you quit, they don't need you.
What happened to the people that quit?
Well, they went back to the regular party army.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or they went to the glider riders. The glider riders were guys who couldn't make it, and the paratroopers said they went into the gliders. But that was more dangerous than being a paratrooper, really. They just shoot that down to kill about 16 to 30 guys, just like that.
In a glider?
Yeah. And they just come in, you know.
What was the deal with that? Is that just have no motor so they can sneak behind enemy lines or something? The glider?
Yeah, that's what they do.
What they do, tow it up with a big plane?
Tow it up with a big plane. They tow it all the way across. And then when they get near the landing zone, they unhook it. A lot of times the pilots of the plane screwed up. A lot of guys got killed because of them. They don't land them in the right place and stuff like that. They land them in a place where there's a whole bunch of guys shooting at you. Or instead of a place where it's a lot calmer. Anyway, that's what I did.
How tall was she?
Oh, I guess she was about 5'5".
5'5"?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that picture of her on Staten Island when she was real young, and it does look a lot like Teddy.
Yeah. Well, I got a wedding picture. I'll show you after.
I remember that one.
It looks exactly like Teddy.
Yeah, it does.
Teddy, she was the sweetest woman. Okay. What do you want to know?
Oh, well, just tell me stuff. Like, did she sing did she sing a lot? Did she wear dresses?
Well, she had a
Did
tough
women
life.
wear pants then and stuff?
No, they didn't wear slacks in those days. But what happened, my father ran away from home, you know.
When was that?
Oh, God, this is when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. He deserted us.
Now, was he an accountant then still, or did he lose his job because of the Depression, or what?
No, he had the job. He just deserted us.
Uh-huh.
Didn't send any money or nothing. So all the kids, some had paper routes, and my mother used to bake stuff, and we used to sell it. Like, for instance, these rich people had a lot of apple trees. They were really good apples, see. So we used to sneak over there at night and get a whole bunch of their apples, and Mama would make an apple pie, and we'd take it over there and sell it to them. So then we lived on clams and fish, because we were right near the water. And it was tough, no question about it.
What year, what was this, like 19
I
what
would
to
say that was probably in 37 and 38, you know, around there. And maybe even to 39. But he stayed away for years and years.
Did they ever find out why?
Who cares? We didn't care for him anymore, you know. We said hello to him, and that's about it. But it kind of killed my mother. She worked like hell. Used to cleaning houses and stuff like that. My mother was really a great person. You would have liked her. We were young. We couldn't even afford a telephone. You know, so how I found my mother was dead was my brother Ted threw gravel up on our window, and we heard it. He opened the window, and he told us.
I heard that story before.
Yeah.
But what was it like? Did you guys have to walk to school? Did she have didn't have a car, I guess.
No.
So you guys ever walked to school?
We had to walk to school. We lived about 3 miles away, and you know, it was tough having enough to eat half the time. So my mother always had a nice garden, so I used to run home 3 miles in the springtime and eat some tomatoes and lettuce and stuff in the garden. Then I'd run back to school.
Well, what was her mother and father like?
Well, her mother was real nice, but his father was very snooty, son of a bitch. We hardly ever knew him. And the only reason why he had money and he goofed it all away, jerk. And
is that like on stocks and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, anyway, Grandma came to live with us for a while. She had an apartment right in front of us.
Was she the Scot?
Huh?
Was she the one that was Scottish?
No, she was English. The Scottish one was on my father's side.
Uh-huh.
Grandma Tooker.
Did you know her very well?
Oh, yeah, I loved her.
Now, did she come around?
She had 11 or 12 kids.
Did she come around very much?
No. I used to go to Connecticut Mama would send me up there for the summer.
When you were kids?
Yeah.
Who else went with you? Just you?
Just me. And
Uncle Ted didn't go?
No. Anyway, I used to go up there. She used to talk with a brogue, you know.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
She was the neatest person.
So what was her husband like?
Oh, he was a nice guy, too. I don't understand how my father could be like he was when he come from such a nice family. They used to do the best they could to support us and help us.
Well,
everybody was poor in those days.
Yeah, I know.
You're hungry and poor.
Did your dad drink a lot? Do you know?
No, he wasn't a drunk.
No?
I think he was kind of a ladies' man type, you know.
A what?
A ladies' man.
Do you think he ran off with someone else?
No, I don't think he ran off with somebody else, but he used to consult with him, I'm sure. But my mother was really a great person. And she died young.
How old was she?
How old do you think my mother was when she died? 54.
It is young.
That is young, yeah.
That was before I was born.
Yeah, yeah.
What about Mary?
Well,
was Mary born then? Mary wasn't born yet either.
We didn't have any kids.
So that must have been, but you were married?
Yeah, well, Edie and I got married.
Before your mom died?
Yeah, she knew Edie.
So So that must have been, what, 1947 or 8 when she died?
We got married in September and your mother died in February.
Yeah. We got married after World War II, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got married when? In
September.
September. She died in February. She was a great woman. You never know till something happens.
And it was a heart attack.
Yeah. See now, nowadays she'd probably still be alive. If she was 54 and had a heart attack this day and age, 99 out of 100 they'll save. And give them medication. They can do so much for them now, but because as things go on, they get better.
Well, it was a stupid doctor too. Ted was taking care of her.
Yeah.
He called the doctor. He said, "Give a couple of extra cup of tea. I'll come over in the morning."
Yeah. Creep. Well, she was a good person, and if there's a heaven, she's in it. That's for sure. She used to be good to everybody.
Did she ever play any musical instruments or anything?
No. She was good to everybody once she ate.
Oh, yeah.
Little black kids, whatever color, didn't make any difference to her.
Very active in the church.
Yeah, she was active.
What church?
Episcopal church.
Uh-huh.
I was an acolyte, which is an altar boy when I was a little kid. And then, well, I got out of school. Most of the time I went to school hungry and come home hungry. And I didn't apply myself in school, so I wasn't going to graduate, so I went in to join the Navy. And the guy says, if they didn't want it, they didn't need anybody, so they make up these friggin' rules so they can reject you. They rejected me because I didn't have 2 opposing bulls. I said, what the hell do you mean? I'm not going to fight the goddamn enemy. I'm going to shoot him. So I said, what? Well, they rejected me for that. So I said,
The problem with your teeth?
2 teeth that had been pulled out.
Oh, my gosh.
Opposing molars, they call it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's why they rejected me. I said, you can stick the Army up your ass.
You mean the Navy?
The Navy. You stick the Navy up your ass. I walked in to join the Army, took me just like that. Then give you that bullshit about 2 opposing molars. And later on, they were taking guys half blind and no teeth, and so it was stupid.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, well. And then when I joined, right away you had the opportunity to go to 3 places, and I did pick. Fortunately, I picked the right place. Otherwise, I might be dead and you wouldn't be here.
True.
Sometimes you don't know how lucky you are, and I was lucky I didn't go, and you was lucky that I met Edith. So,
where did you meet?
Over the beach, over Cap Tree.
I mean, someone introduced you, just were walking by or something, or what?
Who introduced? Anybody introduce us? Edith? Did
How did you meet Mom?
I don't really read. She was sitting on a porch.
I just asked her, you said it was at Cap Tree, and I said, are you walking by? What happened?
Yeah.
On Cap Tree, well, in 1946, when you first was out of the Army, you used to come down to Aunt Edith's cottage and talk. And I think you fell for me before I ever fell for you. Because the next year, I was over there, and Larry told you that I was there, and you said you didn't care. And then you come over, you were painting Van Wielden's kitchen.
Yeah.
You and Larry, and Uncle Joe says, come on down. Took me down, introduced us formally, and then when we decided to get married, started throwing fits.
Who did?
Uncle Joe and Aunt Edith, everybody.
Now, these people, Uncle Joe and Aunt Edith, I remember hearing about them and maybe meeting them, I don't know, but were they your mom's sister or brother or what? Your dad's?
My dad's sister.
Your dad's sister, okay.
Yeah. I was named after her.
Yeah, your dad's sister. Okay.
When we started dating,
What did you do? What was your first date? Where did you go?
well, we were there on our first date, our first real date on the mainland. Dad borrowed Uncle Nelson's Jeep.
Uh-huh.
He took me out. I don't know where we went. I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Where we went or what we did.
You go on a picnic or something, or?
No, it was in the evening. Maybe we went to a movie. I don't know. I don't remember.
They had drive-in movies in those days.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got going steady after a while. We just got married.
After what? A year, or 6 months, or what?
A very short time.
3 months or something, maybe?
Yeah. Just about 3 months. But
Yeah.
anyway, everybody had fits. Didn't want us to get married.
Who had fits?
We used to rent at a room at Uncle, what's his name?
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe and his wife. We rented a room upstairs. We had our own bathroom. And there was a couple other rooms up there. And all of a sudden, Chick Gardner, a friend of ours, is living in one of the other rooms. We didn't know that, did we? Remember Chick Gardner?
Rented out our bedroom.
Yeah, and he was always washing his hands. God damn.
God, he had a...
He'd pick his nose, he'd wash his hands. Wipe his butt, he'd wash his hands. Everything he did, he washed his hands.
wash his hands. Up to 9 times a day. He's always washing his hands forever.
Nowadays they call that obsessive compulsive behavior.
Yeah, well that's what he had.
We had an old, we didn't have a refrigerator, we had an old ice box, see. So, and the ice would melt and it goes out a little hose and you have a thing in the bottom. And you pull that and dump it in the sink.
A tray.
When it melted,
Yeah.
Well, not a tray, it has to be like a pan.
Like a tub.
Yeah. So, one time I forgot, a couple times I forgot, and the water got in the ceiling, and Uncle Joe was downstairs in the laundry room. The freaking ceiling fell.
Oh no.
Well, we had a very shallow pan. You had to empty it several times a day.
So, anyway, the goddamn ceiling fell out. They told us to get the hell out and move out. So, by that time, I had a job in the post office. I used to deliver to the old hunt club up there in North Babylon, where we lived first. Yeah. And it was a great big picture window. It was nice and beautiful.
A picture window was an old storefront.
Yeah.
The leader had 48 panes of glass.
So anyway, we rented that. And then they had one next door to us. It was quite nice, you know. A little white house.
Yeah, the Valvos.
The Valvos. And Teddy and Priscilla were married, and they lived in that one.
Yeah.
They lived in that one. They decided to move out. They moved to an apartment someplace. So we moved from right here over to the next house.
Where they were.
Yeah, where they were. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had
we didn't have any running hot water in that old hunt club. Had to heat up every blessed drop of water. You want to do dishes, take a bath, wash clothes. Anything.
On what, stove? Gas stove?
Yeah, I know, on a cook stove.
wood stove.
Wood stove. I'd go out and pick up sticks. There's all woods around there. Go and pick up sticks, build a fire, heat the water, scrub on the scrub board.
The romantic good old days.
Yeah.
Well, then I was working in the post office by that time.
What year was that?
You just told me it was 46.
No, 1947.
Yeah. Well, and then my route went out of Babylon, and they switched it up to Deer Park, and that was great.
I remember that.
And then Deer Park and
Deer Park Avenue was right up the street from where we lived.
Yeah. And then, well, of course, Deer Park itself was up about 5 or 6 miles north. And then I used to, well, first I used to go to our house when I was working out of the Babylon office, remember?
Yeah.
We lived right through there.
West Islip.
Yeah. Boy, I used to get
North Babylon, West Islip.
all kinds of presents from people, cash, and a lot of those ladies.
At Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, at Christmas during the year, too. People would give them stuff from their garden.
Yeah.
Veggies, flowers.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah. Then there was a whole bunch of old gals used to work in a dress factory for little kids. Well, Mary had the most prettiest clothes you ever did see. Teddy. Yeah, Mary missed us, I guess. Yeah. A lot of times on the mail route, you know, people would give them all kinds of stuff. I used to do favors for them. Like this farmer had baby chicks coming. He's busy doing something else. Leave a note in the mailbox. Hey, Ken, we're doing me a favor. When you come with the baby chicks, put them in the barn and we'll open the brood and put them in here. They have these little round things with big hood on you. Lift it up. And they had a little thing going and they keep them warm. So I dump all the little chicks in there, put the top off and take off. See? These people gave me all kinds of crap for Christmas. Jesus. Money, clothes for the kids, every goddamn thing you could think of. And all summer long giving us vegetables. So that was kind of a nice job. Remember, we worked hard. The first couple of months we didn't get paid, they had us screwed up.
Post office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
started the 1st of September, October, middle of November. Got paid.
Who had screwed up? The federal government or something?
Yeah.
So anyway, there was a Italian grocery store on my route, and the other guys used to live there. They just put it in a box. I used to bring it right into the store with them. They just love that, the Italian people. There you are, Mr. Chivetti. I give it to them. And I only had about half a buck. I said, you know, I'd like to have one of them big Italian hero sandwiches. Well, that's not a good, but about 3 pounds of meat. About that long meat, topping cheese and everything. We'd bring it home, we'd have a couple meals out of it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we started getting paid. That was great. And
that was 1947?
Yeah.
Well, Mary was around, so it must have been 48 or something. 9?
Mary
She was old enough to hold a chicken.
Mary in 47, Mary was born in 48. And you didn't get that sandwich till after. We never had anything good to eat like that when we didn't get paid.
Yeah.
I had some money saved.
Nobody helped us either.
No, nobody invited us for a meal or anything.
No, we got over that. We beat them up.
Get a quarter tip or buy a loaf of bread, jar baby food.
For a quarter?
Oh, yeah. Bread was 12 cents a loaf. Jar baby food was 6 cents, 5 to 6 cents.
Anyway, we got by, and here we are.
Sure did.
Okay.